Hey everybody, the first time I'm going to try this, but I thought I'd make a little video to give you a little update as opposed to write you a long email. But I've received a few questions over the course of our session so far, asking about rubrics and how I go about evaluating the final project. And typically what I've done, I mean, I do make up a grading sheet each time that kind of captures things, but typically what I do is I send out an email prior to the end of the class, with a couple weeks to go, where you kind of hear the things that I look for. But instead, I thought I'd put it in a little video. And so let me give you a little sense of what I'm going to be looking for on the group project so that as you're working through this, you can keep that in mind. And I think that doing this now is going to be very helpful to you. I really look at a couple of different things. Most importantly, not most importantly, I think these are all maybe equally important, but does it have all the required elements? I ask for a whole series of things each week, and there's a little checklist on the exam resources page that kind of lists all the things that I want in there. And does it have it all? I mean, did you skip certain things? You did include the feature strategy matrix that you're doing and working on right now. You did include the positioning map, and you referred to the positioning map. So does it have all the required elements that you're working on? So you don't want to lose any free points because you're going to be doing all those things. And then the other part is you did them, but did you do them well? Did you apply the concepts effectively? Do you understand what I'm looking for? On your positioning maps, which you're working on right now, did you kind of fall into some of the traps that in my positioning lecture I asked you not to? So did you put something like quality, where good qualities on one side and bad qualities on the other? And if you did that, that's not a good idea, because in the video lecture I make it pretty clear why I don't like that. No company is going to position themselves as the bad quality company. The positioning map should have attractive positions at all quadrants. So be careful on how you answer the questions. Are you effective in applying them? And so there's lots of places throughout this course that you can kind of misapply things. So are you applying them correctly? And then kind of the third thing, and this is just true with any kind of MBA program thing, but there's a professionalism that goes along with being in the MBA program. Are things well written? Does it have a good flow? Are things that are in the appendix referred to? All those kind of basics that just kind of make it look like a well-written professional document. And then the last thing is the main reason I wanted to do a little video, and that's how these different concepts interrelate. Because there is a flow to this class. And you might be thinking, well, I'm doing this thing this week, and this thing this week, and this thing this week, and they don't really go together. Well, they do go together. And if you're doing this on a divide and conquer approach and you're not integrating the concepts, your project is not going to be as good as those that do. So kind of here's what I mean by integration of concepts. I'm going to take you through what we're doing the first couple weeks of the class. In the very first week, I asked you, you started looking at some stuff about competitors. You're identifying what market that your company was competing in. This is the thing that you're writing that's kind of due on Sunday. This is the week 1 stuff that now we're in week 3. That you're writing who are the competitors, what's the market you're competing in, what are some of the factors, and so this is the longest part of the paper, and that's why I gave you a little bit more time. But that's the playing field, and so you're identifying the competitors. And then week 2, the things that you did last week, was really beginning to look at the customers and doing a customer profile and understanding who the target customers are. And so that's really important, because much of the positioning analysis should be done from the perspective of the target customer. It shouldn't be done kind of separate from it. So the things that you're positioning on should be things that are meaningful to the target customer. They're not things that are maybe strategic differences that customers don't care about. It should be things that are relevant to the customer. So that's one area where things can kind of tie together. Another thing is something that you're probably thinking about right now, but you need to be able to pull this together for next week, and that is on your positioning map. So on your positioning map, where you're thinking about ways that the company sets itself apart from its competitors, you want to use factors that are meaningful to your target market, and you want to use things that really become the value proposition. So if you think about what sets the company apart, those are the things, the points of difference, those are the things you want to include in your positioning, and reflect on your positioning map. Because the value proposition ultimately is going to be the thing that sets your company apart from its competitors in the meaningful way from the perspective of the customers. So the positioning map is going to tie into the value proposition, which is going to tie into the positioning statement that you're going to be doing in next week's material. And the positioning statement, it all comes together, and so it all needs to interrelate. And so the positioning statement will be something that follows a little formula, and it's going to say to, and then you're going to have the target market, is the brand of whatever it is, the market you're competing in, that, and then you're going to say what is your value proposition or your point of difference. And it could be multiple. It could, on a positioning map, you have opportunity to have be in a quadrant and be further out in an attractive area of a quadrant. So it could be two different points of difference, or it could be one. I mean, this is all in the lecture, so you get this part. And so that's the thing you stand out on the value proposition, and then there's a reason to believe, which you'll catch that for next time. But notice this integration part may require you to go back. So if you've decided in something that you've done for week 3 or 4 that something that you'd written previously isn't up to date or doesn't have this level of integration, well, you probably need to go back. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not grading things as you go. I'm allowing you to treat it as a draft. So I'm not grading things yet. I will, and this is going to be a big job, but next week, after you finish your positioning statements, I'm going to go in and take a look at all your boards and see where you're at. Look at your paper and just kind of make sure that you've done these things that I'm talking about right now. It has this level of integration to some extent. It won't be an amazing amount of feedback, but I'll just kind of give you, yep, you're on the right track. You missed some points here. But so those are the 4 main things that I look for on the project. And so it's, again, just to repeat it, it has the required elements, effective application of the concepts, the professionalism of the document, and the integration of the concepts. So that all goes together. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll see how this goes. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.